Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Curtis Kaboom and this is Kurt-Tober. Now, today's movie is one that I've heard a lot of really good things about, but lucky for me, I haven't heard a lot of things about it other than it's got really good things. I know that Demi Moore's in this and that I think she won some awards for it. And I also know that it's got some body horror, which can be very hit or miss when it comes to horror movies. So, today I'm watching a movie about wanting to feel younger than you actually are. Here is The Substance. What the hell did I just watch? How do I make a review of this without giving anything away or overselling it? Well, here I go. The Substance is a 2024 elevated body horror movie starring Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley. Demi Moore plays an aging Hollywood actress turned aerobics instructor who gets fired from her aerobics job on her 50th birthday. And on her way home from being fired, she of course gets into a car accident, which she's perfectly fine from, but during this, she gets an offer from one of the doctors to try a new experimental drug. And at first, she is against this, but realizing that it might be her only option to get back into the limelight, she decides to try it. But there are some very strict rules that someone taking this drug has to follow. Well, she decides to do it anyway, and it ends up splitting her into a second, younger version of herself, but not herself, played by Margaret Qualley. This new, younger version goes by the name of Sue and quickly inserts herself back into her old aerobics job, and also quickly finds her way into the hearts of everyone in Hollywood. So let me just start off by saying, this is an incredibly beautiful movie to look at. You could freeze any frame of this movie and it would look incredible. It really has that shine of a picturesque Hollywood that you would think of back in the 80s or 90s. And this is where it gets its elevated horror charm. Now, normally I don't really like this kind of thing in elevated horror because it's usually style over substance. Okay. But this movie has so much more going on the inside than its shiny exterior would let on. And while we're on the subject of beauty, let's talk about the two lead actresses. Now, I've always actually really liked Demi Moore, but I'll be honest, and I feel really bad about this, it's been a little while since I can remember her being in something, at least that I know of, which is why her casting in this movie feels so on the nose. It feels like Demi Moore could be going through this exact same crap, with Hollywood being shallow as it is. As the movie goes on, she is showing serious signs of depression, which she almost cures by going out on a date. But as she gets ready, she just has to keep putting more and more makeup on her face because she has to keep staring at a younger version of herself who stole her old job. She has some scenes in this that are absolutely heartbreaking, and it makes you feel for her. But then she also flips the script and absolutely loses her mind at some point, and you love her for that too. She's amazing in this, and she actually won a Golden Globe Award for this movie. And Margaret Qualley was also nominated for Best Supporting Actress for this same movie. She also does a phenomenal job with the role that she has as this young up-and-coming star that is just absolutely attractive in every way. And one of the best things about both of these performances is neither of them really come off as bitches to anyone. They're both kind and sweet to everyone around them, even when they don't deserve it. They both feel like genuine humans who make mistakes and want the best for themselves, and not just stereotypical Hollywood divas. You start to actually care about both of these characters and want them both to succeed, not just one over the other. And you really don't want to see them sink into the madness that they are currently going through. I actually could not even believe some of the things that I was witnessing in this. This movie has some of the grossest, sickest, most vile, and incredible body horror I have ever seen. Things that I couldn't even imagine in my deepest nightmares. Earlier I said how beautiful everything is in this movie. Well, I'd also like to point out how ugly everything is in this movie. It's almost like this movie is making fun of elevated horror. It's more like an old trauma movie than an elevated horror at point. If you don't know what trauma is, it was a straight-to VHS, very popular in the 80s and 90s horror company. They specialized in shocking, gross horror movies. I'm talking the Toxic Avenger, and maybe you've heard of Nuke 'Em High. And I think that is just the thing that I fell in love with this movie about. It's just 80s schlock mixed with elevated horror. It just goes so well together. But if I have to say one negative thing now, it's that the movie feels very long. It's 2.5 hours. For a horror movie, that can be hard to pull off. And if you're not invested, I could see this movie being boring to you. But they do a pretty good job of filling the boring parts with some out-of-nowhere body horror every once in a while. And they fill a lot of those boring parts with nudity from our 2 female actresses. So if you needed another reason to see this movie, maybe that's it. It's just one more reason that this feels like an old trauma movie. They were definitely sexploitation horror. But if you're watching this movie and you think it is too boring for you, I just please beg you to make it to the end, and you will see something that you could never unsee. It is incredible. So the million-dollar question is, would I recommend this movie? And I don't think that's too hard to answer this time around. I would definitely recommend this movie. In fact, it's making it all the way up to the new classics. I loved this movie. I can confidently say that this movie might not be for everyone, though. The problems you might have are the length, the nudity, and of course, the gore. This feels like it was made for a certain kind of horror fan, and that's me. This movie was made for me. Every shot is beautiful, the actresses are incredible, and this has such a deep meaning, but at the end of the day, it feels like they're making fun of elevated horror by just smearing blood all over it. I watched this movie on streaming, and the minute that it was done and the credits started, I went online and bought a 4K version of this movie. I can't wait to watch it again.